The leak out of the shadow cabinet, what do you make of it? Is it just untidy? You don't really, as leader, want to see that thing out of your own team emerging, even though the information itself, to my mind, wasn't that damaging, Claire?
Yeah, look, exactly. It's not ideal. I'll grant you that. That's a fact. But this is, shadow cabinet, and like you said, the information wasn't particularly damaging. It didn't look like it was geared towards, creating any impediments to his leadership. So I don't think we should overcook that. What I see when I look at the merit of that information is that it looks like, which I think is a really good thing, Labor is going to shape up on having an election campaign on the economy, which is exactly where working people want to see the fight on between the coalition government and the Labor Party. And, historically speaking, Labor has been, much more disciplined when it comes to the machinery around campaigns, around tracking the fiscal discipline, around tracking election campaigns and having a very clear and considered blueprint heading into election campaigns. So I don't think it's a bad thing that they're getting organised early. In fact, I think that's terrific. I think, we need to keep level heads here. If we cast our mind back to the Malcolm Turnbull's prime ministership, there was, many leaks outside of cabinet and cabinet being in government, which is, I would argue, much more significant than a shadow cabinet process, which leaked really some fairly mundane information, noting, of course, that two shadow cabinet ministers did speak to it, and that's not ideal. But let's not read too much into this one.
Fiona Scott, I think that's a fair assessment from Claire. I guess the problem is it comes after that reshuffle, and reshuffles generally, as Tony Abbott rightly said, you got to try and avoid them, I think, because you don't please everyone, you don't please anyone in large part, and you annoy a whole heap of people.
Yeah, I think reshuffles are one of those things that you end up creating more enemies than you had before they had them. I mean, they are problematic, and you even look at the reshuffle Scott Morrison has just had. He has in many ways tried to keep it as tight as he can, but it still doesn't mean there's a few horses out there that aren't disappointed that they didn't get promoted. But look, I have to say, I think overwhelmingly, yes, Labor does have a very good campaign machine. They didn't read the campaign tea leaves of the 2019 election. They did not pick the quiet Australians. They thought they were a shoo-in. I mean, Bill Shorten was out having a beer in the morning of the election because everyone was voting for Chloe Shorten's husband, and he's not the Prime Minister. So, I mean, the point here is that the Australian people will make their decision the way they will do. But I'm, maybe my conspiracy theorist here, I'm not sure that this leak wasn't a leak, but in fact a plant for Labor to try and pivot their new positioning. I mean, it does, if it's going to be a true leak, it's usually damaging to somebody. This seems to be more Labor sort of signalling out there, let's put out a tea leaf, let's see who bites, let's see if the Labor troops are happy with this positioning. But of course, Labor have a lot of challenges here. They've got issues like the polling that Andrew Clennell picked up yesterday about the Labor's position in seats like Hunter, Paterson and Shortland, which are all in the Newcastle region of New South Wales. So there's a lot of issues out here that not only did Labor have to win seats off the coalition when we have a very strong Prime Minister right now, they're actually also defending their own turf, because I can tell you right now, Kieran, the coalition is actually eyeing off Labor seats. They believe they can defend what they have, but they think they can add to it. And that's probably not the best position for Labor to be in.
No, terrible. Yeah, exactly. And the Prime Minister very confident, but he's got a challenge ahead of him. I'll get both of your thoughts on this. Claire, first to you, in terms of this climate position. I know there's a whole heap of analysis that says, look, he's getting a lot of praise for not doing much. He's actually, by setting that target for 2050, is a significant shift and direction and goal for the economy, for the nation to be targeting. And for a coalition leader to do that, I think puts, again, Labor in a difficult spot. Where do they go on it? He's talking about he's not, but his Deputy Prime Minister yesterday with me on this channel was saying that one option is to carve out agriculture. But again, he's looking like the pragmatist, isn't he, Claire?
Yeah, look, he's certainly pre-positioning quite successfully here. We know that the current Prime Minister is incredibly shrewd when it comes to handling delicate policy positions. Just putting aside the political piece for a moment and thinking about the country's interest, this could be the year that we have genuine action on climate change. I don't think that it's nearly as ambitious or as with merit as it can and should be, and I do think that the coalition lack a bit of imagination when it comes to how they can take the country into new competitive positions. But, we've got the Biden summit coming up in April, which Morrison will be invited to, followed by the UN summit in November. He cannot escape a debate on climate action, and what we're seeing so far is him positioning himself to meet that
I just want to
necessity. Yeah.
Indeed. I just want to get Fiona's thoughts quickly. Only got about 20 seconds left, but Fiona, your thoughts on that issue?
Oh, look, the Prime Minister has been very clear. It's technology, not taxes. And if the Prime Minister is going to win seats like Hunter and Warringah, then he's going to have to find a delicate line between the two aspects of the debate.